WNEM-TV 5 News starts right now with a breaking news alert.
Well, obviously, it's a very active scene here. A group of people who say it didn't get in here by accident. But if you take a walk with me, you'll see that this is where the deer actually ended up. They say it jumped through this window. They actually have signs out. Take a look at what this sign says. But police say when you cross the street to the other side, that's where there could be some confusion. As part of the process of flying this drone, you can actually stream video right back to your smartphone. Now, the governor's office, for their part, isn't confirming that speculation that he has presidential aspirations, instead saying he's fired up about Michigan. Some towns in Michigan are actually trying to make donations at boxes like this one a thing of the past. Sir, listen.
Thine eye offend thee, pluck it out.
That's the voice of an angry man who didn't identify himself after TV5 showed up at this Genesee County home that witnesses reported flying a Confederate and Nazi flag. The flags were gone when we got there, but emotions were still running high. We want to give you an opportunity to respond.
Nobody here is racist.
But after these women on the property told us they weren't racist and that we couldn't film the property, they placed a phone call. And moments later, an emotionally charged man sped up, almost hitting me with his pickup truck. But the situation escalated from there. As I went to drive away, he began hurling rocks at our news car, leaving these dings and a crack in the windshield. And when he tried to physically get into the news vehicle, that's when I called police. I don't know what he's doing. He seems out of his mind. We showed up near the house because the flags were sparking debate statewide about the balance between free speech and curbing what some may find offensive. The owner of the nearby bait shop down the street doesn't like the message the flags were sending.
I don't think it's necessary. I don't get the point of it.
Do you think it might be offensive to some people?
Yeah, that's the problem. It's offensive to people, and I don't think there's any place for it.
By all accounts, the only thing illegal may have been the attack on us, and police are now investigating.
Talk about that cross or something. What do you see? What do you want to talk about, that cross?
Sir, and detectives are expected to look into this situation tomorrow morning, Kristen.
Gosh, thanks, Nick. We're glad you're all right.
Of course.
Now, are the people we saw you talking to in the story the homeowners?
Well, there's actually no confirmation about that at this point. They really wouldn't identify themselves. They wouldn't tell me if they were, but obviously pretty angry and upset.
Absolutely. And did anyone see you being attacked?
Well, we were along a busy road there, so of course all the drivers coming by, and when that man crossed the street was hurling those rocks. I mean, he almost get hit by a car at one point, so I assume a lot of drivers and then the police, of course, responded.
Unbelievable.
Crazy day. Absolutely right, Kristen. A lot of people. Now check out this map I have here of the people that were impacted, and actually if we scroll down a little bit, you can see just the breakdown of people. About 297 people felt what's called light shaking, and over 4 million actually felt what's being called weak shaking. And here's just what some of those people had to say about it all.
Not your typical Saturday.
Those sentiments expressed in the dozens of calls, messages, and emails we received about a 4.2 magnitude earthquake, which sent rumbles in our direction during the lunchtime hour.
I'm sitting here, okay, this is not cool. And I thought actually something worse was going to happen.
Mickey Hanna, a weather spotter for the National Weather Service, was sitting in that chair when he felt the quake. He quickly called up the Weather Service to report the tremor.
Surprise. What? Yes. Yeah, just had to explain it twice. And they said, okay, let's work with it.
And after decades reporting the weather, Hannah's never seen anything like it.
No, never. Never anywhere, at any point, at any place.
Over in Bay County, others felt the shaking too.
My whole apartment here in beautiful Bangor by the bay was rocked. I rocked off my left foot. The pots and pans that are stored in the bottom drawer of my stove started rattling.
And here's a live look at the USGS map. Again, you can see that those colors on the map there were reports from all over our region, from Flint, Saginaw, Midland, and of course down past Lansing and back over to Kalamazoo where that epicenter was. And obviously this map's going to keep updating throughout the night as people call in their reports, Kristen.
TV5's Nick Lulli asking the tough questions.
Here at Owasso's Kelly Manor Apartments, the grounds are kept up and it looks like a pretty nice place to live. But according to a new lawsuit, what happens inside the leasing office may make you think twice about renting here if you have kids.
We were tipped off by a potential renter who went to this place and went to one of these properties and was told, that they didn't rent to children.
It's a violation of your federal civil rights, denying you an apartment lease because you have kids. Michigan law also states that you can't be discriminated against based on familial status, meaning if you're married or have kids. The Fair Housing Center of Southeastern Michigan says Kelly Manor and at least 2 other sister properties across the state refuse to rent one-bedroom apartments to testers posing as potential tenants with a child. So we went looking for answers. A locked door greeted us at the apartment's main entrance. So moments later, we called the owner, Sudie Hopper, named as a defendant in the pending lawsuit. Sudie, this is Nick Lulli. I'm with TV5 in Saginaw. Hopper says she doesn't want us doing a story. You don't want any story? Well, Sudie, they filed a lawsuit, so we really want to get your side of the story. But Hopper wouldn't budge, saying she would need to contact an attorney before giving us an on-camera interview.
I'm really surprised. I have no problems.
To try to find out what goes on inside the building, we spoke to years-long resident Randy Rollins. He says the lawsuit comes as a total shock. You've seen kids here?
Yes. Oh, yes. In fact, my one buddy who lives directly above me has 2 kids, and he just moved out to something a little bit bigger. And that was a one-bedroom apartment, too.
More questions are expected to be answered during the course of the pending lawsuit, which has not yet been scheduled for a hearing. Reporting in Owasso, Nick Lulli, WNEM-TV 5. We've heard from prosecutors about the kind of charges that the Nick couple is facing tonight, but now a close friend of theirs is speaking out and wants us to know the truth. In our quest for one more detail, more answers about this case, we stopped by the Nick's Bristol Road home. How could a seemingly typical couple be accused of embezzlement and possibly more? No answer, but moments later we bumped into a neighbor who says he's a longtime friend of the couple.
Well, as far as I know them for 5 to 7 years, they're really good people.
He doesn't want to show his face or share his name, but the family's friend says he knows nothing about their open involvement on Facebook with a group known as Davison Militia.
I don't know nothing about that. That's the first I heard of that, so I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. But what the Davison man does know is that despite the fact Sarah and Stephen Nick now sit in jail facing a slew of financial charges, they're not the friends he remembers.
They're really good people. Like around Christmas time, she'd make jams and stuff, from the season of growing the fruits and stuff, and she'd bring that down to me. Anytime I needed help on welding or something, Steve would always weld. We'd hang out and have a few beers and stuff.
Other neighbors we spoke to say, except for the recent police activity, they never saw any militia materials or anything suspicious.
I never saw them, actually. So it was, normal house. You just drive by, okay.
Now, we've tried to reach out to numerous agencies from the sheriff's office to federal officials to see if these charges are connected to their militia involvement, but so far everyone is remaining pretty tight-lipped. Reporting live in Flint, Nick Lulli, WNEM-TV 5.
All right, thank you, Nick.